Have you ever wondered why you feel a sudden wave of anger towards someone who did nothing wrong? Or why you keep choosing the wrong partner, even when your brain screams no? Most of us go through life believing we are the masters of our emotions, but the truth is much darker. We like to imagine we are rational, but we're actually like strangers to ourselves, driven by forces buried deep in our past and our biology. Today, we're diving into 10 dark psychological truths about human feelings, based on the world's most influential books on human behavior. If you stay until the end, you'll realize that intuition isn't magic. It's actually a trained observation of patterns that most people are too distracted to see. 1. Your rational feelings are often lying to you. In his book Thinking, Fast and Slow, Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman explains that our minds have two systems. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and emotional. System 2 is slow and logical. The dark truth is System 1 is the secret author of most of your choices. Your logical brain, System 2, usually just finds reasons to justify what your emotional brain has already decided. You don't think your way into a feeling, you feel it first, and then invent a story to make it sound smart. 2. We are all consummate actors. Robert Greene in The Laws of Human Nature states that we all wear masks. From childhood, we learned that approval is conditional. We learn to hide our true feelings, envy, selfishness, or boredom, just to fit in. This isn't necessarily manipulation, it's survival. The problem is that many people wear the mask for so long they forget it isn't their real face. 3. The shadow self is always waiting to leak out. Everyone has a shadow, a dark side made of repressed insecurities and aggressive impulses. According to Jungian psychology, the more you try to appear perfect and saintly on the outside, the blacker and denser your shadow becomes. This dark side leaks out during moments of high stress or when you're drunk, angry, or emotionally overwhelmed. In those moments, you meet the version of yourself you've spent years trying to deny. 4. The Cinderella effect: love is biased by biology. Evolutionary psychology reveals an uncomfortable truth called the Cinderella effect. Research shows that stepchildren are mistreated or neglected at significantly higher rates than biological children. Why? Because our brains are biologically wired to invest resources in offspring that carry our own genes. In evolutionary terms, parental care is often tied to survival and genetic continuation, not purely unconditional love. That truth feels cold, but biology rarely cares about comfort. 5. We love beautiful people more than good people. This is known as the halo effect. When someone is physically attractive, our brains automatically assume they are intelligent, kind, and trustworthy. In experiments, attractive political candidates received far more votes than less attractive ones, yet most voters denied that appearance influenced them at all. We don't like admitting this about ourselves, but many feelings of admiration are simply reactions to beauty. Sometimes a pretty face becomes a shortcut for trust. 6. Reciprocity is a weapon of debt. In Influence, Robert Cialdini explains the rule of reciprocation. If someone gives you something, your brain feels pressure to return the favor. That pressure can become surprisingly powerful, even painful. Dark psychologists and compliance experts exploit this constantly. They offer a small gift, a flower, a drink, a compliment, just to increase the chances that you'll say yes later. You think you're simply being polite, but your brain is actually trying to escape the discomfort of debt. 7. Envy is the secret driver of most hostility. Envy is one of the most painful human emotions, which is why people rarely admit feeling it. Instead, envy disguises itself as anger, resentment, or moral criticism. It hides behind judgment. If you constantly criticize a successful friend's personality or character, there's a good chance envy is operating beneath the surface. Sometimes we attack another person's reputation simply to reduce the pain of feeling inferior. 8.
The sunk cost fallacy keeps us in pain. Why do people stay in miserable relationships or dead-end jobs? Because of the sunk cost fallacy. Our emotions become attached to the time, energy, and sacrifices we've already invested. Leaving feels like admitting defeat. A perfectly rational person would walk away immediately, but humans rarely behave rationally when emotions are involved. We would rather continue suffering than accept that our previous investment is already gone. 9. We are terrible at predicting our own happiness. Psychologists call this miswanting. We believe a new car, more money, or a specific person will finally make us happy forever. But the human mind doesn't remember experiences accurately. Our remembering self focuses mostly on the emotional peak and the ending. Because of this, we keep chasing goals that never truly satisfy us. We remember pleasure in a distorted way. The future we imagine emotionally often doesn't exist in reality. 10. The madness of the crowd. The law of conformity says that individual intelligence drops inside groups. We unconsciously imitate the emotions and behaviors of the people around us. This is why social proof is so dangerous. If dozens of people witness something terrible and nobody reacts, others assume nothing is wrong. Human emotions are highly contagious. Silence spreads. Fear spreads. Panic spreads. Most people do not trust their own judgment. They trust the crowd. Understanding these truths doesn't make you cynical, it makes you accurate. When you stop asking, why did they do that, and start saying, of course they did, you gain a quiet, unshakable power. You stop replaying conversations in your head. You stop overanalyzing every moment, because now you can finally see the patterns. If you want to master your own nature, start by observing your feelings without judging them. Look for the shadow behind your anger and the performance behind your smiles. As Robert Greene says, man will only become better when you make him see what he is. If this video helped you see the world more clearly, hit the subscribe button for more deep dives into the human mind. Remember, clarity is where real power begins.